Thank you. Give it up. Thank you, Jasmine Lumpkin and the Sound Collective for that beautiful rendition of the Black National Anthem. I feel like we gotta stay in this room and cut an album after that rendition right there. That was amazing, y'all. How are y'all feeling? Y'all doing good? Oh yeah, we're in here tonight. Welcome, 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 welcome to the Linn Benton NAACP Annual Freedom Fund Celebration, everybody. Give it up, we are here. My name is Dorian Smith, and I am so honored to be up here at this podium, standing in front of all of you beautiful people, and I will be serving as the host for this occasion. So, I got a little housekeeping. Before tonight's program, I'd like to ask everyone to join me for a moment of silence as we acknowledge the lands of the indigenous people that we occupy today. Thank you. As a local NAACP branch, we are celebrating our 51st year of fighting equity. Yeah, give it up. 51 years. And we're still not tired, right? Fighting for equity, equality, and justice. Friends, we have an amazing lineup for you in store this evening. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out and thank probably the most tireless individual in the Linn Benton, Willamette Valley, maybe even Oregon. This man is the hardest working individual, especially for our people that I know. Our president, Jason J. Dorsett. Yes. Also, we have an excellent executive team. This year's Freedom Fund Chair, Sherry Day, and the Freedom Fund Planning Committee for more than 600 plus members of this illustrious organization. Yeah. The work that all of you do make our community better day in and day out, and we appreciate you. But tonight's a celebration, so let's start out with a celebration. Let's celebrate our sponsorships, our advertisements, and our ticket sales, because that helps the work to continue. The funds that y'all gave to be part of tonight, of course, let us cover this event, but also we raise funds to support the ongoing work of this branch. So speaking of our fundraising goals, we would like to acknowledge our diamond level sponsors. We have 3 diamond level sponsors here tonight. First is Oregon State University. Yeah, all right, go Bigs. The Linn Benton Health Equity Alliance. Yeah. And the First Alternative Co-op for your generous sponsorship for the evening. Their sponsorships are an acknowledgement of the hard work that the branch is doing and shows their investment and commitment to social equity, inclusion, and the hard work that y'all are doing in the Linn Benton community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. There's also many other sponsors and advertisers who showed their commitment to this branch by supporting and giving dollars. You can see these supporters in tonight's print program. So I want to give it up for them, but I also want to give it up for each of you individuals, because every cent, every dollar, and doesn't matter if it folds or if it jingles, it counts. So thank you, thank you, thank you. At this time, I would like to call a few of our special guests to provide a brief greeting. We will start with the Linn Benton Community College President, Dr. Lisa Avery, followed by President Sharon Gary Smith of the Portland branch, and to close out, President Mills Pendleton of the Eugene Springfield branch. Let us welcome them to the stage in that order. Dr. Lisa Avery, please come on up.
Well, good evening and welcome. Now, I noticed he said brief, and he said it twice. So I'm an educator. I can pick up on the cue. I'll keep it to 45 minutes or less. I'm kidding. Welcome. And I want to say congratulations. We're so glad to have you back for this gala. And I'm so pleased to see a great turnout and so many beautiful faces here tonight. And I do also want to recognize and thank, you know that the NAACP and LBCC share, we share a lot of things and a lot of folks, but we get to share the talents, excellence, and service of Jason J. Dorsett. So, we're so blessed to have him heading up our equity efforts. And at LBCC, we provide education for all. And we mean all. And we're so, so glad to be partners with the NAACP. Let's have a great evening, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Sharon, please come up to the stage. We got you. Oh, Sharon isn't here, I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Miles Pendleton, and I serve as president for the Eugene Springfield branch of the NAACP. It's a great joy being able to join you all here tonight, and as we share this moment, I think the thing that comes to mind first and foremost is a great sense of joy. And I think it's an individual sense of joy at my unique privilege to be here once again to join our brothers and sisters up here in Corvallis, Albany, and doing all the amazing work and conducting all the amazing leadership that they're doing. But certainly also this sense of collective joy that we all should, and I think we all do share in tonight. So often this work that we conduct, I think it's honest and it's fair to say that it can be draining. You know, certainly the burden that we all choose to place on our shoulders of lifting up our communities, lifting up our cultures, standing in support as allies, as fellow members, as leaders to petition for what is righteous and what's good and what must be. We take on these burdens as individuals, but we also share in the burdens of those that we seek to serve. And so in that regard, it certainly is a rewarding process, but it can be tiresome and it can be toilsome. And it becomes easy at certain moments to distance ourselves from that essential grounding factor that has always been the key conduit and core of Black and otherwise marginalized communities' social justice movements. And that's joy. Joy has always been the bedrock of what we do. Joy has always been the vehicle that wakes us up, that gets us smiling, that makes us march, that gets our shoes tied in the morning to get out and get ready for the day to come. And so as we continue to have these conversations, as we enjoy this unique and special privilege of joining together in shared space and company and in shared commitment to justice, to the principles and tenets of the NAACP, let's remember to do so that as we do so tonight, we do so in joy. We do so in love, we do so in courage, and we reground ourselves, we refocus ourselves, we recenter our journey to come. But again, we do so in joy, happiness, and in friendship and commonality. So I thank you all. It's a unique privilege, and look forward to continuing to have these great conversations and sharing space with you all today.
Thank you. Thank you for those great words. And I have so much joy after hearing you. And I also have the joy of sitting next to our mayor, Mayor Alex Johnson. So I want to give him an opportunity to come and say hello.
Thank you very much for joining me in Albany tonight. This is my home. This is my spot. October 15th, 1994, I rented my first apartment here in Albany, Oregon. I did not know I would be standing here in front of you as its first ever Black elected official in the history of Albany. I was told it could not be done. You'll never win in the city of Albany. I won my first election by 70.25%. Second election, just by 289 votes, but I would have beat a 14-year incumbent. I'm running for re-election right now, but this is what I want you to remember, though, is that my job is to encourage people that look like me and women look like me to run for office. So we have one among us, Dr. Anissa McGee, please stand up. She teaches here. We have a brother, Haitian brother, running for mayor in the city of Lebanon. A Native American woman running for a district up in the state district in Gladstone. I mentor those folks and I work with them because I know them and I know they can do a great job at bringing the best for their people and for us as well. I want you to all to know that Albany is a place going through a great change. Albany is building. We're the 10th fastest growing city in the United States of America because we can. I don't ask permission. Let's get it done. And so to have you here tonight, since 2019 was the last time we did this, I received an award, a prestigious award. I'm hoping that you all will come back to Albany because things are happening. A new waterfront, 2 hotels, more places to live. We're building our first tiny home village, and I'm so excited about that to get people off the street into more permanent housing. So my message to you tonight is pay attention, come to Albany and help us get it done. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you to all of our illustrious speakers, President Avery, President Pendleton, and Mayor Johnson, for those encouraging words, to find joy, to come hang out in Albany, enjoy that waterfront. Oh, sorry. You know, and I live here too. And now I want to give about 2 or 3 seconds quiet because I feel like I hear some stomachs growling. And it's the most fun part of the night for a big guy like me. It's just about time to eat. But just before we do, I want to have some words and some thanks for Forks and Corks for this delicious meal. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for Airlie Winery for bringing that delicious wine. Mm-hmm. So anyone that's able, now is the time that I ask you to stand and join us in a moment of prayer before we eat. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together in this moment, in this dinner, to celebrate the work that individuals across this state and across this country and across these counties have done to support your children. Thank you for giving us the strength and the guidance and the wherewithal to fight day in and day out to make sure everyone is able to live their best life. Please let this food nourish our bodies, our vision, and give us the energy that we need to continue the struggle past for another 51 or 52 years. Mm-hmm. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you. Amen. All right, so Brianna, can you please come up and give us some guidance and help release us to dinner? We will first hear from Sydney Griswold, the newest president of the OSU NAACP chapter. Yeah, give it up to Sydney. Sydney, please come up and tell us what you have in store for us for the coming year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, that salad was really good, so I had to get a little more. So me running over here, but I just wanted to introduce myself. Hi, I'm the new, sorry, I'm winded. Running in heels is hard. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sydney Griswold. I am a senior at Oregon State University. I'm actually a third year with senior status, so I've only been there for 3 years. But graduating early, I am the new OSU chapter president, and I'm super excited. Thank you. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we've done so far. At the beginning of October, we hosted the annual dinner, except we did it a cookout. It had a great turnout. A lot of fun faces. There was dancing. We got some pictures, and it was just really good getting the community together. I spoke a little bit. Jason came and stopped by, and so it was just really amazing. And then we've had a few meetings. The most previous one, we decided to speak about mental health stigmas and stereotypes at a predominantly white institution, since Oregon State is a PWI, and it got some really good feedback just about, focusing on mental health as Black and brown students and how what we need to do to build better resources, the resources that we have available, and what students need. And then upcoming, hopefully we're in the works of doing a private showing for Wakanda Forever for students, and so that's going to be really amazing. And the MLK March as well is something that I'm in the works with Jason and the Black Cultural Center on campus, and so we're just doing a lot of great work, and I appreciate all your support and just wanted you to know who I am, what I look like. If you see me around, I know I'm younger, but I'm here to support and be a part of the community, and so glad to be here with you all. So thank you.
Good job. Wow. Without violating FERPA, that is an incredible individual that I'm happy is at OSU, and they're doing great work. So thank you, Sydney. And, hopefully I'll be able to get to that movie as well. All right, so we're going to start the programming from here, and we're going to start by hearing from Dr. Rosa Colquitt. Dr. Colquitt, yes, let's give it up. Dr. Colquitt is the vice chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon, the chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon's Black Caucus, and the membership chair of the NAACP's Portland branch. They do a lot. So please give it up and welcome Dr. Colquitt to the stage.
Dorian, can we get it in and down just a little bit? Yeah. That was really wonderful. OSU, that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Dorian. Again, my name is Rosa Colquitt, and I'd like to acknowledge everybody that's on the stage with me, our MC Dorian, our mayor, again, and a young man that is, I call him Mr. Excitement. I don't know if he likes that, but that's what I call him, and that's President Dorsett. Mr. Excitement. I'd also like to acknowledge any elected officials that may be in the room. Do you have any elected officials? If you're here, I would like to acknowledge any candidates. I know we did earlier, but do we have any more folks that have taken that big step to step up and say, I will run? So, yeah. And I'd also like to acknowledge the people, I don't know where they are, but the people that's serving our food, the people that prepared our food. Those are beautiful hands, the folks that help us and to do the things that some of us can't do, and we acknowledge that. And I'd also like to acknowledge the heart of this assembly, all of our attendees and guests. Please applaud yourself. Very good. And I'm missing my dear friend Kasha, and hope to see her some next week, but I wanted to do some reflecting with you as well. I would first like to thank President Dorsett for inviting me to attend this magnificent celebration. I haven't been to an NAACP dinner in a while, and so I think this is just fantastic. Thank you so much. Now that I'm here, I think I should tell you that there's no other way I'd like to be spending this evening other than with the Linn Benton NAACP branch and friends. Now, I promise to speak only briefly, and none of my kids are in the room, and so they can't comment when I make that statement. The kids aren't, so they can't say anything. But these days, as a civil and women's rights activist, I think a lot about both the rights and responsibilities of voters, as well as how we get more people involved in voting in Oregon and nationally. In 2020, we watched the Senate confirmation of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yes. I was reminded again of the magnitude of such a historic moment that could only be possible when we use the power of our vote to elect politicians who will act on the right side of history. It is so important that we continue to work together to build on the gains that were made in 2020 through our vote, both in Oregon and nationally. I yet rejoice that Judge Jackson has ascended to the highest court in the country and that her representation, yes, representation matters, gives hope to millions of Americans. Now, the beloved Congressman John Lewis wrote these words at a time when he believed that his life was coming to an end. In fact, this message was published in the New York Times shortly after his death, and I quote, "Though I may be gone, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. Voting and participating in the democratic process are key. The vote is the most powerful, nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society." End of quote. Indeed, all of us must exercise our right to vote by November 8, 2022. In one of the most transformative elections of our lifetime, and I know you've heard that, you've heard it in the ads in the media, but it is just that, a transformative election. Democracy is on the ballot. Historically, democracy has always been on the ballot for Black Americans, whose journey is deeply embedded in the fight for voting rights. Even today, in more than 13 states across the United States, the battle rages on to challenge voter suppression, voter intimidation, targeted primarily against Black and brown Americans. Without a doubt, failing to vote, to exercise our, what Congressman Lewis calls, quote unquote, precious vote in 2022 is not an option for Black Americans or for any democracy-seeking Oregonian. Rather, we must show up and show out in record numbers. This means mailing in ballots early and on time to ensure that every vote cast is counted. Each and every vote is fundamental to stopping a serious threat to our democracy today and for decades to come. In just 9 days by my count, I looked at the calendar before I headed out from Portland. Here's what's at stake in not using our power and not using our vote here in Oregon and nationally. First, voter intimidation, voter suppression, and the denial of voting rights at the ballot box all over the country. Maybe not here in Oregon, but I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. If there is injustice anywhere, there is injustice everywhere. Okay, there's lots of things at stake when we say democracy is on the ballot. Full access to reproductive health, health care, including the right to abortion and contraceptives. There's a lot more at stake. Fair workplace policies and wages to make sure that no one who works 40+ hours a week still lives in poverty. There's There's a lot more at stake on the ballot when we talk about democracy is on the ballot. Affordable, equitable health care as a right for all, not a privilege for a few, especially the cost of prescription drugs. There's lots more on the ballot. Protection of our environment against the devastating impacts of climate change. Protection of Social Security for our seniors. And when I get to this one, I'll say, I'm getting there. And my kids say, oh, Mom, you're already there. Access to safe and affordable housing, rental, and home purchases. It's on the ballot, my friends. Democracy is on the ballot. Use your power, your vote. There's lots more on the ballot. Immigration, humane immigration rights and policies. True accountability for law enforcement, not practices rife with racial profiling. Meaningful, fair gun legislation is on the ballot. There's a lot more when we say democracy. Equitable public education for our children, where teachers are rewarded, not punished, for teaching a true and complete American history. There's more on the ballot when we say use our power, our vote. The right to marry who you love. It's on the ballot. Social and economic justice for all without regard to race, color, national origin, gender identity, or disability. It's all on the ballot this time. It is not optional. Whether we sit at our kitchen tables, darken those circles, and get the ballot in on time. I would like to close with the impassioned and inspiring words of someone who's somewhat become a hero to me, and I'm going to be seeing him very soon. But these are the inspiring words of DNC Committee Chair Jamie Harrison. Chair Harrison says that where he's from in South Carolina, they have a special motto on voting. And that motto is, while I breathe, I hope. While I breathe, I hope. But he says, it can't be enough to breathe and have hope. We must give folks the tools and information they need to make their vote count. It must be, while I breathe, I vote. While I breathe, I organize. While I breathe, I knock doors. While I breathe, I write and send postcards. While I breathe, I send text. While I breathe, I act. Like the example of Chair Harrison, let's act together as the Linn Benton NAACP branch and community members to use our vote, our true power, to continue working toward the justice and democracy that we all seek today and for decades to come. Thank you, everybody. It is an honor to join. I want to say to you, and I felt it from the moment I came in tonight, rushing in looking for the restrooms, but there's something I want you to know, something that I see, and that is you are, each and every one of you that I've met tonight, many of you I knew before I came, you are that beloved community that Dr. King talks about in his 1963 publication, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. You are community. I love you so much, and thank you for the time that I have to share with you. Thanks, everybody.
Wow. That was incredible, y'all. Please give it up one more time for Dr. Colquitt. As I was listening to those inspiring words, I was also looking across at these signs in the back and thinking about the importance of each and every vote. Humanity against racism, protect our climate now, protect our youth, center love, justice now, stand up for justice, my vote counts, create change, vote now. All these things that impact our humanity and our rights are on the ballot. And it's so great to get that reminder from Dr. Colquitt. And before I take up too much time, I do want to move us forward and give us an opportunity to welcome Tiffany Monroe and Larry Landis to the stage to tell us a little bit more about the Letitia Carson Project.
Thank you, Dorian. Appreciate that. So how many of you have heard of Letitia Carson? About half. That's great. That's great. Well, my name is Larry Landis, and I am one of the members of the leadership team of the Letitia Carson Legacy Project. I retired from OSU a couple of years ago. I had worked in special collections and archives, and I got wrapped into this project very willingly, I will admit. So I do want to tell you a little bit about the Letitia Carson Legacy Project. I want to start out by, for those of you that are not familiar with Letitia Carson, I want to tell you a little bit about her story, and then I'm going to have Tiffany share her story as a black farmer in Oregon and the impact of Letitia's story on her, and then I'll wrap up with some thoughts about the Letitia Carson Legacy Project, what we're doing, what we hope to do. We're a hard act to follow. I mean, the previous speaker is a hard act to follow. So, bear. I'm tongue-tied. See. I also want to introduce and acknowledge a few folks as well. Tiffany came up here with me, Tiffany Monroe, who has been part of the Letitia Carson Legacy Project team, particularly in our first year in 2021. She did a huge amount of work when we were still trying to figure out what to do on the land in Soap Creek Valley, where Letitia Carson had lived. It's OSU land. And Tiffany just helped us so much. And soon after that, Moses McGinney, who is standing to my left, began helping us as a student coordinator, doing outreach to other student groups on the OSU campus, particularly black student organizations. And his work has been absolutely phenomenal. So I asked him to come up here too, so we could acknowledge his great work. And I also want to give a shout out to Jason J. Dorsett, who has been with us the entire time. And I also want to give a shout out to Scott Vigneault, who is OSU's Chief Diversity Officer, who is the Letitia Carson Legacy Project sounding board at OSU and has done a tremendous amount to help guide us, particularly through some of the, shall we say, interesting pathways within the OSU administration. So thank you to all of them. So let me just talk a little bit about Letitia Carson. And for those of you that are familiar with the story, bear with me. For those of you that are not, hopefully you will learn a little bit and gain an understanding as to why her story is important. As perhaps the first black resident of Benton County, so early black resident in the Willamette Valley. There's a lot we don't know about Letitia Carson, but there is some that we do know. She was born in either 1814 or 1818 as a slave in Kentucky. Her name appears in the 1850 census and the 1870 census and she gives a different birth date in each of the censuses. And that's not unusual for census information in the 19th century to have discrepancies. But we know she was born in that time period. By 1845, or probably 1844, she had ended up in Missouri. We don't know how. And she had become she had become associated with David Carson, who was an Irish immigrant, came to this country in about 1820, migrated from North Carolina to Missouri, probably in the late 1830s, along with a brother. And but they decided together to migrate to Oregon in 1845. But at the time that they left in April or May of 1845, Letitia was 8 months pregnant. And we assume that David was the father of their child. So can you imagine a decision to travel 2,175 miles when you're 8 months pregnant, knowing that you'll be pregnant or having to take care of a child during that travel period? So they left in May of 1845. Letitia Carson gives birth somewhere in what today is Nebraska to their first child, Martha Jane. They arrive in Oregon in September or October of 1845, and in December of 1845, David Carson takes out a provisional land claim under the provisional government. Oregon was not even a territory at that point. David Carson takes out a provisional claim of 640 acres in the Soap Creek Valley of Oregon. Does everybody know where the Soap Creek Valley is? It's about 8 miles north of Corvallis. It's in between the McDonald Research Forest and the Dunn Research Forest. Okay, I'm getting the time signal, so I'll move along here. David and Letitia settle on the land. They establish a homestead. David dies in 1852, and a neighbor named Greenberry Smith is appointed the administrator of the estate and does not recognize Letitia, nor, by that time, their 2 kids, as heirs. And so Letitia is basically left with, because she is black, Letitia and David were not considered legally married, so therefore she did not have rights to inherit any of his property. So she ultimately relocates to Douglas County, and I think with the help of some friends, though, files suit against the administrator of her husband's estate, Greenberry Smith. She files suit twice. The first suit was the premise behind it was, well, if I was not David's wife, then I must have been working for him for 7 years, and I'm owed back wages for those years. She ultimately won. The second lawsuit pertained to cattle that were illicitly sold. Letitia was the cattle raiser in the family, and a neighbor had testified to that, and she won the second lawsuit. So she, a black woman winning 2 lawsuits against a powerful white man in 1850s Oregon is almost unheard of. So it's an amazing, amazing story. She went on to live a successful life in Douglas County and was the first black woman to take out a land claim under the 1862 Homestead Act. So important for that point too. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Tiffany and let her speak for a few moments, and then I'll wrap up with a few words about the Letitia Carson Legacy Project itself.
Thank you, Larry. I'm a farmer, so I move around. So my name is Tiffany Monroe. I grew up on a farm in Junction City, Oregon, and every once in a while in your life, you come across individuals or stories that rock you to the core, that when you hear about them or when you become infiltrated by someone's story, it changes you inside. And the story of Letitia Carson did that for me. And why I invest time into this project is because that I know that her resilient story as a black woman in the 1800s, a former slave, one that should have had land that she tended to, that she served the community by, to have that taken away and have the courage to fight over and over again is something that can inspire us, every single one of us, and help us become better allies, better supporters, and to carry forth that fight and love for each other. Growing up in Junction City, I was a firstborn American on my mother's side of the family. My mom was from Kenya, and my older siblings were born in Kenya, and my father is a white male whose family settled in the area in the late 1800s. So I have a background of white privilege, of land ownership, and also am blessed to have a mother that was a farmer as well. And that is one of the reasons why her story inspires me so much. Our experiences being black in Oregon were extremely challenging. And I know many of you feel those strings pulling on you when you think about your time in Oregon, your families and your experiences. Some of my siblings have been in prison multiple times. My sister was deported, convicted as an adult at the age of 15. It's been really, really tough, and I'm really blessed to have people who I consider family. Today, Josh and Talia Stroud, they're the godparents of my nieces and nephews. Having my experience, I didn't mention that I'm also an OSU alum. I studied agriculture there, and go Beavs! But it wasn't an easy experience. I dropped out of college multiple times. Erlene Wilson, Huey, is she? Yeah, there she is. She's one of those rocks that I had at the university. I dealt with sexual harassment, police brutality, so many different experiences, and I am lighter skinned and talk white, you know, like it doesn't matter, you know, what shade of skin you are, if you know, how you try to assimilate, it doesn't matter. Your presence is a threat here in Oregon, and we have to always remember the conditions of the people within our community. And being able to channel someone like Letitia Carson to build infrastructure within our local communities, to create pathways for people to be resilient, to have resources, to have access, will save lives. And that is exactly why I am so dedicated to this project with my team. The NAACP is a partner within this legacy project, and I just hope and pray that we continue to work together to honor her story, to build resiliency, to build infrastructure, and continue to change lives here within our area. And I just applied for membership, which was accepted this week to the NAACP. So I'm sure Jason will keep me busy. I'm so honored to be connected to all of you and with my team here, and I just thank you for allowing me to tell my story and share how Letitia Carson empowers me every day. When starting this project, I would cry in the car and pray, like, God, give me strength to walk on campus, give me strength to be in Corvallis. And through working through this project and being with my team, I walk with my head up, and I just can't wait to see what it can do for others. So, thank you.
That, my friends, is what the Letitia Carson Legacy Project is all about. Inspiration, hope, joy. We have, as Tiffany said, the Linn Benton NAACP chapter is one of our partners. The other partners are the Oregon Black Pioneers, Oregon's Black Historical Society. Yeah. Zachary Stocks, the executive director, has done incredible work with this project. The other partner is the Black Oregon Land Trust, a fairly new organization that seeks to assist black farmers, particularly with the acquisition of farmland. Farmland acquisition is hard for any farmer. It's especially hard for farmers of color. So we are working with them to figure out some way that maybe part of the land on the beef ranch could be used by the Black Oregon Land Trust in some way. That's one of our long-term aspirations, but they're a very critical partner. Just very briefly, some of the things that we have been doing. We're just completing the second year of the project. It started in 2020, but we didn't really get rolling until 2021. We've done archaeology on the site, on the homestead site. We're developing a digital history project. We have a traveling exhibit that's about to be launched probably in early 2023. Looking ahead, the main project that we're going to work on next year is developing a historical marker for Letitia Carson. Some of you may have been at the Reuben Shipley family historical marker dedication back in July. We want to replicate that for Letitia Carson. And so that costs some money. So we're hoping that many of you can help support that. And I'll let Jason talk a little more about the actual money part of it. So I've gone way over time. I apologize for that. There's just so much I could talk about. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Tiffany and Larry. Wow. As you make your way back to to where you were sitting, I do want to have every black woman in here stand up, please. Stand up if you're able. Because as I was hearing that, 8 months pregnant, 1860s, said, no, I'm going to come get mine. The strength of black women is incredible and it should be celebrated. So please give y'all a round of applause. Incredible. It sure is. I'm telling you, 8 months pregnant, I don't even want to work out without a protein bar. All right. Now, I have the honor as someone in a national panel organization to read this. And if y'all know anything about the Divine Nine, y'all know that it was started by some incredible individuals. And we have some folks that are here tonight. I'm very delighted to welcome the Ice Cold Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Rho Beta chapter. Thank you everybody for having me. We really appreciate it, and we hope we can share key pieces of history with you all tonight. My name is Xavier. I'm the current chapter president of the Rho Beta chapter of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Our beloved fraternity was founded on Tuesday, December 4th. Thank you.
1906, on the campus of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And yeah, that's about all I got to say. Let the stats speak for themselves.
As I said, I'd like to introduce ourselves again. We are the brothers of the
My name is Abubakar Muhammad. I'm the Vice President of the Rho Beta Chapter of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And our motto is, first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. And our motto, our aim is manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. A few notable members of our dear fraternity is Brother Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Brother Jesse Owens, Brother Thurgood Marshall, the first black African American on the U.S. Supreme Court, and Brother W.E.B. Du Bois, the founder of NAACP.
My name is Samuel Fraser Jenkins. I'm currently a senior at Oregon State University studying apparel design, and I currently serve as the role of secretary of the Rho Beta chapter. And our beloved fraternity's mission is as follows: Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence while providing service and advocacy for our community.
Sound good to me. This sound hard. Some funky people don't dance to. Give the rhythm a second and a chance to. Hitting people like a scene of a haze. While they slipping back, my feet just point. Crying like a nigga do. So now I'm looking dead at you. What are you gonna do? You listen to the knowledge of a scholar. You say how I breathe, tell them how I holler. I'm the E-double, and I will claim my name. Straight up, good game. Peeps all game. I'm like a rhino, running through the rubbish pack. They think I'm a trigger happy nigga, so they step back. Breathe. The microphone is boot blast the longest, so news is strong. It ain't a game, it's plain to see. You listen to the sounds of breathe. There ain't no future.
Yeah. Give it up for the men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Man, that was fire. Imagine if they had came. All right. That was incredible. 1906, that was a heck of a year. 1911 was also a great year. I just want to announce that, you know, that crimson and cream. All right. That was incredible, y'all. I can't do that. I'll throw my back and my knees out. Now, though, as we transition, it's my pleasure to introduce, as I said earlier, the hardest working man in Oregon, Mr. Energy, our very own branch president, Jason J. Dorsett, to share remarks about this annual award.
All right, all right. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Oh my word, I am so excited to be here. Thank you to the Ice Cold Brothers of Alpha, Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Yes, yes, yes. We are running a little short on time, and so I am going to cut my remarks in complete half. So if you all know me, you know anytime I get a chance to speak in front of an audience, believe it or not, I'm really nervous. I am a really shy person, but I am able to draw from the energy. I'm able to channel my grandparents who are Southern Baptist preachers, and I can go, right? Okay. But for the purposes of time, because I know y'all don't want to hear me tonight, I have a few things that I'm supposed to do. Brianna is making sure that we are on time so we can have some fun and dance. Okay, give me one moment here as I find my script. I am cutting it down. All right, well, I am here first to acknowledge a few individuals who will receive awards. But before I do that, I would be remiss if I did not, I'll grab it. If I did not acknowledge an individual, thank you, brother, an individual who we were not able to properly acknowledge and award their award last year. And so, Carrie, if you're here, Carrie, if you could bring up that plaque for me. I would like to acknowledge, Carrie is my special assistant, everybody. You all know Carrie Latham. He is the person behind, he makes it all happen. So Susan Leonard, who is the best dressed person in the building on today. Susan, where are you at? Come on, Susan, come up here. Susan, yes, look at Susan. Susan serves as our political action chair and has been doing a fantastic, fabulous job all year long. And we wanted to acknowledge Susan and award her officially the Dr. Calvin O. Henry Award from last year. We weren't able to present it. Here you go, Susan. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. We would also like to give a few shout outs to our Freedom Forward Award recipients. Cynthia Spencer, who is, Cynthia, stand up please, wave your hand. Cynthia. And Shelly Williams. Shelly, raise your hand, yes. They received our Freedom Forward Award during our Juneteenth celebration this past summer. Okay, so this year's recipient of the NAACP Dr. Calvin O.L. Henry Leadership Award seeks to make society better than it's ever been. The individual would not let one's own fears or fears of others, President Jerkins, Emerita, prevent one from being an agent of change. This recipient must know and understand that everything, as Dr. Calvin O. Henry would say, our founder, everything is what? Political. Everything is political. Well, friends, it gives me great honor to announce this year's recipient of the Dr. Calvin O.L. Henry Leadership Award to none other than Christopher Nord. Is Christopher here? Okay, Christopher is not here. We will accept his award on his behalf and be sure to get that to him. Let's get up for Chris. All right, secondly, this is an award that the president gets to select. And so I am indeed beyond proud of this recipient. The President Award is an award that the President selects, as I stated earlier. And I could not think of anyone better to recognize besides one of our amazing first year Linn Benton Community College students. Okay. This individual is a true social change leader in their own right. This individual facilitates equity-centered conversations with his peers and youth. This individual is an aspiring artist, a rapper, a songwriter, an inspirational musician. I can go on and on and on, and I would just say this. In addition to his studies at the greatest community college in the nation, Linn Benton Community College, this young person is a dynamic student employee at LBCC and is a member of the award-winning choir here at LBCC. And during his spare time, which is very seldom, he works for his mom at his mom's restaurant, Tara's Tasty Treats. Friends, family, join me in celebrating none other than Malik as this year's recipient of the President's Award. Malik Austin Brown. Come on up here. When I saw him come in, he said, "Mr. Jason, I'm not dressed. You are fine. Welcome." Give it up one more time for Malik. All right. Again, I'm going to close us out, you all, on this evening. But I want to, again, acknowledge all of you, all of these fine individuals that are here today. We want to certainly acknowledge our diamond sponsors, all of our sponsors, our friends from Oregon State University, our Chief Diversity Officer, Scott, our Vice President of Undergraduate Education, thank you for being here, Dr. Alex, our President of the President's Commission on the Status of Black Faculty and Staff Affairs, Dr. Tanisha Tevis, thank you for being here. Our Director of the Lonnie B. Harris Black Culture Center, my brother Jamar Bean, thank you for being here. We have Mr. Teron Anderson, thank you, brother, for being here. We would also like to give a huge shout out to all of our former President Emeritus, if you are here. All former presidents of this local branch, please stand up. President Jerkins, thank you. President Angel Harris in the house, thank you. Yes, thank you. All of our presidents, thank you.